Oh, sorry, we had some tech issues there.
I'm not
Apologies.
quite sure how much you heard of what we were talking afterwards.
We're thinking,
as
are we
well.
still live? I don't know what's going on. So apologies for that. As we were talking
No
about
worries.
the contention for line honours. Cros,
Absolutely.
what's going on?
I'll just do a quick reset here. Look, they're absolutely fantastic. So there's sort of four of the front runners, all incredibly close to each other. We saw some of the pictures off the boats. They are literally looking at each other and looking at the land. They're that close to each other and to the coast itself. So at the moment, SHK Scallywag is holding the lead. As I said, thanks to Andrew Dolly DeVola for making sure we mentioned them. We missed them yesterday.
Sorry.
Suits
sorry.
and suits this weather really well. Mastlock Comanche in second, Law Connect third. All of those guys definitely within sight of each other. And then about 6 nautical miles back, we've got Brian Earhart's Lucky, the 88-footer, and then probably about 20 nautical miles from the lead, Palm Beach. You might think that those first three have got this in the can, if you like, but actually this is going to be super tactical, and Palm Beach completely comes into her own at this point as well. It's going to be downwind. We'll do an explanation later about what's going on with the breeze and what they're all trying to do. But they're all off about Bicheno. They've gone through that really light air patch. It didn't actually end up lasting very long, sort of small hours in the morning for maybe a couple of hours, 2-3 hours. And I think when I last looked, they were doing roughly about 13 knots coming down the coast there. So all to play for.
Yeah, and so what time are we thinking line honours might be coming through? Any guesses?
As a betting man, you wouldn't even begin to try and bet on that one. Safe to say that the main issue at the moment is going to be how far south they can get, and then through Storm Bay, which itself is going to be tricky, and get to the Iron Pot and the river before the river closes down, which at the moment it looks like it will. So for those of you not familiar with that, this river, as an end of a race, has killed so many hopefuls who've got there looking good and then sat in the river for the better part of 6 hours with no wind waiting for the morning. It's really hard to tell at the moment, and we'll have a longer discussion with John Curnow later, you can mention that, as to what we think. But if they get good breeze coming down the coast now, they'll be jibing all the way down, very tactical against each other, trying to cover each other as well. They should be round Tasman Island maybe late afternoon sometime, if we're lucky, early evening, and then it's really whether there's enough breeze in Storm Bay and into the river to bring them up. But there's every chance we will have, 3, possibly 4 boats all in the same area, and don't completely rule out Celestial, who are great guns further up the track. So all to play for, and it could be either a morning finish or a late night finish. I'm really not sure. I'm not putting money on it.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, we cannot forget the rest of the fleet.
Yes,
Very
of course.
important.
There's about
How's everyone else
92
going?
others. I thought I might explain that using some very old tech, because once you start showing screens and you're out in the sunshine, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to put this guy up here. Wendy, if you wouldn't mind putting your microphone under me while I talk about this, and we'll talk about a map. So, Jake, if you'll just sort of come in here. So here's our rum line. Excuse me, Tasmanians, for drawing such a shocking map of your country. Flinders Island at the top, and this is where the group are roughly. Bicheno sort of somewhere around here, and down here where Tasman Light, which is the turn and up into the river. What they'll be doing now is, because this high has come across, there's a stream of air coming this way round, and they're now in running conditions. Perfect after all that thumping around. That's exactly what they want. And they'll come down, and then it just depends how quickly, as we said, we get through here. What's interesting looking back up the fleet is that we've got most of the next lot of runners are all west of the rum line. Now, Michael Spies, I think, or somebody said last year that the first time he'd ever seen Flinders Island in this race, because they very rarely go west of the rum line. They nearly all stay east. But in these conditions, what all of these guys are trying to do is to get into this narrow band of wind that's coming around the back of this high moving off, and actually stay in that breeze, because offshore it's looking very light for quite a number of hours, and it's the same all the way back up to Green Cape. So just to sort of finally get up to that, so if people are not familiar with the geography, and again, apologies for the map, here we are, we come around Tasman Island on the end, that's the pivotal point. This can be huge seas here, I can recall personally, past the organ pipes and into Storm Bay. This has been quite lumpy over the last few days as well in here, and it just depends on how much breeze they get. If it's a nor'easter, then they might just be able to creep in and up the river. If it starts going really light in here, they could be parked down at the Iron Pot, just sort of down here, overnight, so it remains to be seen. So just to let you know who we've got, thank you, Wen, who we've got in the sort of runners now, and again, this could change. Fantastic to see Damien King's MRV is looking good for overall on IRC. Beautiful boat. Cruiser racer, really, doing incredibly well, and very experienced sailors, of course, as well. And then we've got Celestial taking out, I think, the next division, and then Callisto in the second division. Third division is KDI, that's Joe de Kock out of Newcastle. The fantastic Californian boat Bacchanal in Div 4. Midnight Rambler, one of the most experienced sailors here, Ed Saltus, in Div 5, and Love and War, the beautiful old warrior, which is in Div 6, and there's obviously subdivisions of those. I think we'll go through those more probably tomorrow once the line honours guys are in. So yeah, all to play for.
Fantastic. Well, stay tuned. We're very shortly going to have a great chat with John Curnow from Sail World. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that chat's going to be like, which we'll be posting in the coming hours?
Yeah, John Curnow knows as much about this race as just about any of us, and runs the Sail World Australian end of things, and he and we have been talking together for many years and working together on this race, which has always been a lot of fun. And we thought it might be helpful if we actually explained some of what we've just talked about, using Predict Wind and the tracker to actually help people see what the wind's doing down the track and what might happen with the line honours. And then we'll both speculate, and that's all we can do, as to when a finish time might happen, but that's in the lap of the gods, I think, at the moment. And Jake's just moving a bee off his arm.
Sorry. We've had all the
We thought we
today.
had technical problems, now we've got biological problems. Anyway, all good.
Fantastic. Well, we'll leave it there. We've also got some fun Vox Pops that we're going to be posting
in
in today as well, and we'll bring you updates as they come. Stay tuned.
See you later.